Welcome back. You're watching Business Today on KTN News, and let's take a reminder of our Twitter poll question where we're asking, will the new education curriculum groom better skilled workers for the Kenyan economy? Will the new education curriculum groom better skilled workers for the Kenyan economy in the long run? Take part in our Twitter poll that is under the Twitter handle at KTN News. But in case you have any thoughts on this, you can tweet us using the hashtag Business Today or my Twitter handle at Doreen Biira. Would like to hear from you and hear what you have to say. Let me just read out a few tweets before we can get on with the news. We've got one here that's coming in from Paul Otieno Onyango. You're saying not many of us have an understanding of what the new curriculum is all about. But Samson Kazungu, you're saying, yes, it will assist Kenyans to know and develop their talents. And we have one coming in from at Omwanaj, who is saying, we just don't need skilled workers. We need productive and meaningful people, citizens and humans in the country. And Fred Omondi, you're saying, unfortunately, we have not read it, so not much can be said about it. But we're having Mananga Jr., who is saying, I wish I met this system. I could be better than I am today. Dr. Matiang'i, good job. God bless him. There's some of your views coming through, but do take part in our Twitter poll. At the moment, we're seeing 31% of you are saying, no, it's not going to groom better skilled workers, and 69% are saying, yes, it is going to groom better skilled workers. But let's now take a look at other stories. Today happens to be World Wetlands Day, and the theme this year is disaster risk reduction. Now, the nearly extinct African dodo bird has found a nesting and breeding place at Lake Nakuru National Park, while flamingos continue to dwindle in numbers. This was announced during the annual bird census exercise conducted at the Lake Nakuru National Park. KTN's Victor Ogale now tells us more and how this might affect tourism in the country.
Previously, the African dodo was reportedly found in Lake Naivasha in large numbers before fishermen started using nylon nets for fishing, a situation that led to the trapping and eventually death of many of the birds.
You had how many?
3.
During the bird census at the Lake Nakuru National Park, the anthropologists and the Kenya Wildlife Service employees counted over 100 individuals of the African dodo bird, a species which is very rare in Kenya.
The birds are a good indicator about the wetlands. If the bird population tells us something about the condition of the wetland, the changes in the habitat, they're wonderful indicators.
The exercise also revealed the dwindling number of flamingos at the park, a situation that is attributed to the rise of water levels, thus reducing the salinity of water, which in turn reduces the abundance of algae, which the flamingos feed on. The birds often migrate to Lake Naton in Tanzania, Lake Simbi in Homa Bay County, and Lake Bogoria.
And of course, it's so sad. I brought a friend here from England today, and it is sad because before we could show millions and hundreds and thousands of flamingos, and now we only have maybe 6 behind us. So that's disappointing.
The information gotten is important for management decisions. So like Nakuru, we find that over the last 4 years, the water levels have risen. So we find that some species like the flamingos have declined.
The half-day exercise also involved visiting the water birds in their sanctuaries along the lake. Members who took part in the exercise were drawn from the Kenya Wildlife Service, Nature Kenya, and volunteers. The members who are then divided into groups are armed with binoculars, with at least one member of the group being a specialist in bird identification. The groups are then assigned designated areas where each member is assigned to counter different species.
The most important thing we do, we are supposed to estimate populations. Because some birds like flamingos or pelicans, you cannot count 1, 2, 3. So we estimate them. And the estimation is the most important aspect of it.
In 2015, Lake Nakuru was ranked as the second most colorful lake in the world after Christmas Island by TripAdvisor, with the park still hosting over 40 water bird species. Victor Ogale, KTN News, Nakuru County.
Now, that, of course, is something that is scary considering the kind of global warming effects we are having across the world. The news is all over town now that a new education curriculum begins in Kenya this year. Just what does it entail? Is it affordable? Shall we see more jobs created in the long term? Our reporter Timothy Otieno now tells us exactly what this curriculum is all about.
It's a process decades in the making. 3 decades to be precise, considering the last time such a review was conducted was back in 1985. The review, spearheaded by the National Curriculum Steering Committee, is aimed at developing, implementing and assessing the reformed curriculum meant to have a new 2-6-6-3 structure. The system should see children aged 4 years join pre-primary level of education for 2 years, after which a 6-year primary education level is expected, divided into lower primary and upper primary, each 3 years long. Pupils will then be required to join secondary school for a further 6 years, but divided up into 3 years of junior secondary and then 3 more years of a specialized curriculum ranging from either the arts and sports science education, social sciences, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
I'm Obwogo.
Peter Obwogo is the current principal at St. Joseph Boys High School and had begun his career back in 1985 when the 844 system was introduced.
We are moving away from situations where people could have gotten results that they did not deserve.
One of the main facets of the new system is the comprehensive focus on digital literacy among students. A hallmark of what they say is a system shifting further away from exam-based evaluation to a skill-centered curriculum.
This one?
Hilda Yembe has been a teacher for over 20 years. She is currently based at Kimathi Primary School in Nairobi, where she teaches a digital learning class.
I tend to believe that the new system will cover all the skills. It is not going to be exam-oriented. At least, most of the abilities of the children are going to be explored.
I like reading with the tablets, and it is a lot of fun. And I don't want it to go.
The school is among the few which had begun an intense program on digital literacy, especially among the younger pupils.
Hello, children.
But the prospects of a much more efficient system hasn't come without its own setbacks. The new curriculum will demand money for retraining of more than 200,000 teachers employed by the Teachers Service Commission, an exercise currently ongoing. The Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General Wilson Sosion has also criticized the process for being rushed, insisting it bears the hallmarks of a politically instigated process meant to save face for a section of the political class. The new system, expected to address mismatches between the current curriculum and the needs of the market, is to be rolled out in May this year as a pilot phase before full adoption come the beginning of next year. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
So will it create better skilled workers? Because the old system, or now the system that is being phased out, is being criticized for having created more managers than skilled workers. So is this curriculum going to be different? Well, I guess we're about to find out. Now, tying to the same issue, a skills center in Machakos County is building green solutions to power up the center while equipping youth with the skills to earn their bread and butter. The center has adopted the urine diverted dry toilet, or UDDT, also known as EcoSan toilets, that recycle liquid and solid waste into usable water for farming. And we happen to speak to the director of the center, that is Jimmy Kilonzi, on the youth and what exactly they can resort to should their academic performance not meet the required standards.
So here where I'm at, we've got the urine diverted dry toilet, also known as UDDT, and it's actually a green solution for this skills center. But here to now tell us more about this, we have the expert right here. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Your names and what you do here?
I'm Duncan Mwangi Kamau, the principal of the Skills Center. I'm also the welding and fabrication instructor. So here, just like you have said, these are toilets, but urine diverted dry toilets, UDDT.
Yeah. What do they do?
So what they do, once the toilet a person uses, so every waste is separated. That is, the urine has its part, and also the solid has its part. Just like you can see, the bowl over here, the bowl corrects the urine, and there is also the pipe work that is already laid, and also there is that part where the solid goes behind. There are special correctors behind where the solid is also corrected. But what happens, so for the solid, you can see there is a ball, there is ash. So ash, there is special chemical, traditional but very effective, that once you use the toilet and you pour just a little ash to the solid, first of all, the smell goes away. Again, those pathogens, they will not be able to stay there. The conducive is not good for them. And maybe, according to the usage, it is corrected maybe once per week, or maybe when we are very many, twice maybe per week. Now, the urine, it is corrected in special piping where it mixes itself automatically with all the other wastewater, and it goes to the farm. Yeah. So we use now the urine, the wastewater to do the farming.
All right, and what happens on this other side?
Also, the same thing. Okay. Yeah, it's just that we have two toilets. Yeah, in this part.
Can we just see maybe just what happens over there?
All right. Yes. That is just what is happening. And for purposes of maybe space, you see over is a reservoir, water reservoir, and right now the pipe, the pumping is taking place. The borehole is somewhere, but the pumping, we are also using the solar power. Even the lighting, we are also using the solar power.
All right, so come with me and maybe you can tell me something. So after the UDDT, you treat it, and what comes out of it is what feeds into the garden outside?
Exactly, that's true.
Okay, and what's that entire process called?
So the entire process, we have just embraced what is available locally. So what we do, at least you can feel there is not much smell, even a little or less. So what we just do, just like you have seen, there are those balls. So the balls, this is a chemical where once liquid pours on it, it reduces, and it reduces the smell and also kills the pathogens. But now, for different soaps, that maybe the student and everybody else who is using the washrooms and the toilets, we put just ash. Over there in the garden, there is where we put ash, so that once we reduce the smell and also we reduce the acid from all different soaps. Yeah. Okay. So nothing very new, but we are just using the locally available material.
So how much water do you generate out of all of this?
Per day, I can say we generate more than 300,000 liters. But when the students are many, it can be more. Yeah. Okay. But the good thing is that all of it, we just use it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And you can see now this is the bathroom. So there is also the pipe work that also connects with the urine. So we did a proportion and see. So if we are using maybe 300,000 liters, maybe for bathing, for washing, and also we are getting maybe 1,000 liters of urine. So that proportion is good enough to help us in our farm. And also the treatment we are doing will do us no harm.
All right.
Yeah.
And that is what we call green solutions happening here at the Skills Center in Machakos County, where they actually recycle their solid and liquid waste, and it is used to actually feed into their garden at the Skills Center, which of course is one of the green solutions that we are looking at here on Business Today.
Now, those are the kind of skills that they're equipping their students at the skills center with. Some of those skills cannot be attained in the usual secondary schools or high schools that we have in the country today. And so some of the vocational training institutions and skills centers are looking for the attention of the government to give them more financial support to help sustain these institutions to equip the younger Kenyans with the skills that they need to get their bread and butter. Now, away from that, news just coming in is that the Shelter Freak Managing Director, that is James Muregwa, has resigned. And he's said to have resigned after a board meeting that had a report adopted by the directors linking him to have taken part in subprime lending and creative accounting. And that is what they call financial indiscipline. Once again, the Shelter Freak Managing Director has resigned, that is James Muregwa. He resigned after the board of directors had a meeting with a report linking him to having taken part in subprime lending and creative accounting. We'll be giving you more updates throughout our consecutive bulletins and on Business Prime later today. Now, as we wind up, thousands of self-proclaimed geeks and tech nerds flocked Brazil's 10th campus party this week to show off their fancy desktop computers and debate the future of the internet and other technologies. The massive annual tech fair opened on Tuesday in the business capital, Sao Paulo, and bringing together some 1,300 programmers from several Latin American countries. Until Sunday is expected to receive some 90,000 visitors. This year, the event will feature the Big Hackathon, a hacking marathon co-sponsored by the United Nations Development Programme. The competition is a 100-hour challenge that has participants developing tech solutions for global sustainability. Campus Party is an opportunity for tech-savvy nerds to meet in person and share ideas and knowledge they usually only discuss on social networks. The event also brings in tech personalities for lectures, debates, and workshops about a wide range of themes regarding innovations. Computer enthusiasts boast elaborate desktops made to look like characters from film and video games, and the fair is also an excellent opportunity for youngsters to show off their creations and discuss ideas with other tech lovers and get funding for their startups. That is something I think would work for Kenya's developing software developers. Now, of course, we've come to the end of the show. Earlier, we asked you whether or not you think the new curriculum will be able to groom better skilled workers for the Kenyan economy. Will the new curriculum groom better skilled workers for the Kenyan economy? Let's take a look at the poll results here. And we are seeing 31% of you are saying no. The new curriculum won't be able to groom better skilled workers, and 69% are saying yes. And if I might take just one more view from you, you're saying, Jeremiah Wanyonyi, you're saying yes, because it will groom talents, unlike the current one that is grooming us to be managers. Well, thank you all for taking part in our Twitter poll and also for watching the show. My name is Doreen Biira. For more business, you can log on to ktnnews.com. And just before we wrap it up, with the year still picking up, we've brought you stories of the Nairobi Securities Exchange and how it has been performing. The NSE 20 share index has witnessed some interesting moves. Of course, it has been at its lowest in over a decade. So far, it has edged down to close to about 218 points below the 3,000 points psychological mark. So tomorrow being a Friday, we are going to be hosting the show at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, seeking the views of experts on what exactly the economy is going through. Is it an economic downslip that we are looking at? We are going to be having the experts explain to us that, and also the macroeconomic environment of the Kenyan economy. Do join us then at 2 p.m. tomorrow at the Nairobi Securities Exchange.